Okay, so what I have here is trinomials which have already been factorized. Okay, so if they've already been factorized, it's nice and easy. All you have to do is step 3. Okay, so step 3, set each factor equal to 0. So if I have two things multiplied to get 0, either the x plus 2 will equal 0, in which case x equals negative 2, take 2 away from both sides, or if x minus 6 equals 0, the x will equal 6. Okay, very similar. You've already done these really for highest common factor and for difference of two squares, and maybe 1 or 2 for grouping. X minus 10, what would make that equal to 0? Well, if x was 10, and if x plus 2 equals 0, well, x would be minus 2. I just want to show you this one. The only difference here is I have coefficients of the x. So I have 3 and I have 5, where they're all been 1s so far. The method doesn't change at all. So what would make 3x minus 1 equals 0? Well, if I add 1 to both sides as normal, the thing is now that I have 3x though. Okay, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3 and I get a third. Or what would make 5x plus 4 equal to 0? Take 4 away from both sides and then divide across by the 5. So it's minus 4/5 for that one. Okay, and you can check that if you sub minus 4/5 into there, 5 by minus 4/5 is minus 4 plus 4 goes to 0. For this one, 3 by a third is 1, take away 1 is 0. Okay, so that's if it's already factorized for you. And the first few questions I'm going to get you to do, they have been factorized for you. So, well, let's say they just jump straight into it, like the questions you've just been doing. Solve x squared plus 10x plus 16 equals to 0. So it equals 0, so step 1 is done. Step 2, factorize. Now, this is not grouping, it's got 3 terms, it's not highest common factor, it's not difference of two squares, so it's a quadratic trinomial. And remember, the first thing we need to do is to find the guide number. How many x squares have we got? 1 times 16 is 16. Now I want factors of 16 that are going to make 10. So 1 and 16, not going to work. Or the same, minus 1 minus 16, also not going to work. 2 and 8, now that will work. Okay, you could continue on here, but once you've got your pair, you go 4 by 4, again, won't make 10. Once you've got 2 and 8, it's going to work. So I'm going to separate my 10x out into 2x and 8x. And then I do grouping. So x goes into the first pair, x plus 2, and 8 goes into the second pair, x plus 2. X plus 2 is now common, okay? So I have x plus 2 times x plus 8 equals 0. Okay, and now I factorized. Now I do the last step. What would make each factor 0? So what would make x plus 2 equal to 0? Well, if x was minus 2. And what would make x plus 8 be 0? If x was negative 8. So there are your two results. Now, if you want to verify, let's say we take our x minus 2, we sub them in to the original equation, and we should get 0 because that's the whole point. We're trying to find the values of x which make the original equation 0. So minus 2 squared is plus 4, 10 by minus 2 is minus 20, and then plus 16, and that equals 0. And you'll get the same if you sub in the minus 8. You'll get 64 minus 80 plus 16 will go to 0. Okay, here's another one. Again, it should equal 0. If it doesn't equal 0, you can't solve. X squared minus 4x minus 21. Okay, so guide number. So step 1 equals 0, we're happy. Guide number. 1 times minus 21 is minus 21. And now we need the factors of minus 21, which will add to get negative 4. Because it's minus 21, the signs are going to be different. So I'm going to have minus 1 and 21, or 1 and minus 21. Okay, 2 doesn't go in. I can have 3 and negative 7, or negative 3 and plus 7. So which pair will work? The sum will be negative 4, 3 and negative 7. So we're going to have x squared plus 3x minus 7x minus 21 equals to 0. What goes into the first pair? X. X goes into x squared x times, and 3x 3 times. What goes into minus 7x minus 21? Minus 7 goes in x into minus 7x, and goes in plus 3, because minus into minus makes plus. Okay, we've got x plus 3 common. So I can, x minus 7 goes in the next bracket. Okay, so that is just revision for you. We did that before midterm. But now we're on to step 3. Let each factor equal 0. What would make this 0? What would make x plus 3 0? Well, if x was negative 3. Or what would make x minus 7 0? If x was 7. Okay, so now what I'm going to do in book 1 again, you can see there's examples. I want to do questions 1 to 5, which they've given you the factorized form, so that's a bit very similar to what we did yesterday. Okay, and then I just want you to go, you can see here they break it up into steps for you. Okay, they break it up into steps for you. So maybe do 7. And then just go straight to 17 to 22 and do these questions. So you have to factorize. They all equal 0, so there's no rearranging. We have to factorize and let each factor equal 0. So 17, 18, and 19. Okay.